Hi everybody, Dave Wisnowski here again from the Pro Wrestling X Project. Today I'm going to show you what arguably might be the shortest, most boring, but most critically important milestone video I've probably ever made for Pro Wrestling X. This video is only for wrestling game nerds, especially development nerds. You guys are really going to get why this is important and why it is so crucial to us going forward and making a lot of things possible. Now, you remember the old videos? I showed you two-player animations, all sorts of things happened. Every time there's new animation, characters would twitch just a little bit, they'd move a little bit to one side or the other, or they wouldn't line up nice. And I said there was a lot of problems with the way our art and animation was done. My fault. I take responsibility for the design, but a lot of times, certain animations were animated over here when they should have been over here a little bit. So the programmer had to compensate for that in code, kind of hack some offsets and positions, and it would usually work, but a lot of times, unfortunately, you saw a lot of that really jerky, transporting kind of motion and stuff. And while the game worked, Uprising works, it functions just fine, it didn't work really well. Now, we had some solutions for that that we needed to test. And what was really important to see was, could we take all of our animations that were animated in the wrong position or rotation, and could we simply put them where they needed to be in the original source animation file, re-export them, and use them properly where they were supposed to be. Now, previously, before Uprising was released, I was led to believe that this was going to be impossible. We're working with animation files that are years old. They've been changed, different iterations, different software and whatnot. The only way to really foolproof do this was to take the animations that were actually in the game, the final product, the final export, and if we could manipulate those final exported animations, put them where we needed to be, well, that would be the perfect solution. The programmer would no longer have to hack all of these different rotations and things together. They would just work if they were in the right position to begin with. So, very happy to report that our new programmer, Will, came up with a plan. And then we've got this wonderful potential new crew member, Alex, offered to help us out because he knew how to do what we needed done here with these certain animation file formats and whatnot. He wanted a crack at fixing them to our specifications. So what you're going to see here is really quite simple. I'm going to reach up, I'm going to grab my opponent, and I'm going to body slam him. He's going to get back up. No big deal, right? After 10 years we should be able to produce that. Well, it is kind of a big deal because unlike Uprising with all the jerking and weird animation offset problems and glitches, this works perfectly now. And what's important is why it works perfect. The programmer no longer has to compensate for improperly positioned animations. Alex did a little test for us, took an animation that was 180 degrees off rotation, gave it to us back in the proper rotation. I know it sounds like no big deal, right? There should be no big deal this day and age, and really it isn't. But again, dealing with 10-year-old animation files, the whole thing was just ripe for reasons to go wrong. So let me just show you what you're going to see here. I'm going to reach out, I'm going to grab my opponent. The animations are going to sync perfectly. I am going to body slam him. When he lands on the ground, you're not going to see him really quickly kind of get into position. He's going to idle for just a split second. He's going to stand back up exactly where he needs to be. You won't see a little glitch when he stands back up. And he's going to just turn to face his opponent while he's standing. He's going to blend nicely there, unlike an Uprising where you just see the guy, boom, snap into position. So again, it sounds stupid and boring, right? But this is really important stuff, man. Oh, also notice this. We're not running full screen, man. We're running windowed. Another thing I was led to believe was not going to be easily done, but yay, Will. He had that sucker running windowed in no time at all. So, check it out again. I get to my opponent here. I grab him. Perfectly synced animation. I body slam him. Perfectly oriented. Slides nicely away from a collision and turns faces his opponent. That whole sequence there, you've got a initiate grapple animation, you've got a grapple loop animation, you've got the defender being slammed, lying idle, standing back up, going back into idle. That's a half a dozen animations that are now working perfectly, exactly the way I wanted them to work 10 years ago when I designed this son of a bitch. And now, thanks to our awesome new crew members who did exactly what we needed to have done. They found a solution. They didn't make excuses or take no for an answer or give me a whole bunch of reasons why we're going to have to settle for what Uprising currently is. They said, hell no, man, we can make that better. We can make that work the way it's supposed to work. And it works! Sorry, man. I'm awfully excited. So I hope the wrestling nerds out there like me understand why that is very, very freaking important after 10 years. And now that we've proven we've got that sequence working with fixing the source animations, we can make it work for every animation now, and there's hundreds of them. So we got some work to do, but damn, it's going to look pretty and work really well when we're done. Thank you very much for your support. We'll keep rocking, you keep checking in, and we'll keep showing you how we are progressing like clockwork every week. Thanks a lot for your support, guys. We will check you later.